In this week's episode of Good to Know, we're celebrating volunteers and heroes across the country. The people who roll up their sleeves and put others before themselves. The type of people who jump into action and look for ways to inspire and improve their communities. Just like the volunteers behind Cleveland's Letters of Hope campaign, an army of volunteers write prayers and positive sayings on little notes and leave them around the city, on cars and in parks.
We've gotten awesome stories. People actually hashtag Letters of Hope Cle on our Instagram and write in saying, I found this letter at the exact time that I needed it.
These are the types of good deeds we need, and we're going to shine a spotlight on the people behind them. This is Good to Know.
Help a person, I feel better about myself and the world when I help people. That's my motivation.
She will be my hero for the rest of my life.
Because it's humanity in its rawest form.
I don't want any regrets that I didn't try to help somebody.
It's really inspiring. It just really shows that you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you have a dream.
Hey everybody, this is Good to Know, and I'm your host, Lindsay Boach. We focus on the good stuff here. Today, we're celebrating local heroes. We start in Florida with a man who's volunteering to feed kids, and he's a hero to hundreds of people.
Ready? Flip them on the other side.
That's Glenn Wilson in a video he posted to Facebook there in the kitchen of his food truck. Like most of us, 3 months ago, he could not have imagined what the world would look like today, or how much the way he saw it would have changed.
I love what I do, and it's not about finances. It's about helping other people.
Truth be told, Glenn has always been about making people happy. For decades, he was a touring musician.
I started when I was 14 years old with Billy Ocean and Melissa Morgan.
He played bass and drums with some big-name acts.
Maxwell, I played with After Seven. I played a lot with R&B groups.
But a few years ago, he hung it up. He retired to Port Charlotte, where his wife's parents are. And not long after, a friend introduced him to the magic of sliders.
I didn't want to do the restaurant thing. I didn't want to be in the debt. So what I did was bought me a trailer and went for it.
The mini-city food truck and Glenn's reinvention was born. Instead of R&B, now he makes wraps and brisket. Until about 3 months ago, when the coronavirus shut everything down.
I went to bed, and I don't know how to explain it, but I wrestled in a dream, a physical wrestle. I did this for 3 nights. So I got up the next night, the third night, and I told my wife, I said, well, I think I need to do something. And I think it's bigger than me. And I said, Lord, if it's your will, you'll provide. He's been providing ever since.
Glenn reinvented his business to feed people for free.
It's hard to convince your wife that you have this harebrained ideal of giving food away, but she was okay with it.
He gives these meal boxes, which have corn dogs or sliders with chips and juice, to about 150 children every day in Charlotte and Sarasota counties.
I'm also feeding police officers, first responders, post office, and the list goes on.
Plus, twice a month, he sets up shop and gives out free meals to everyone who needs it in a party-like atmosphere that also includes free music. Some people have given him donations, but for the most part, he's doing all of this by himself.
That takes a pretty special commitment on your part, not just the time, but the money. What drives you to do that?
It's a higher power, man. It don't make any sense, but I still do it. I still love it. When you see a child light up, that is something that you can't get back.
Did you know that you could regrow an avocado?
Learning didn't stop when class did at Episcopal School of Nashville.
We have tomato plants, kale, and mint.
Every student is involved in urban gardening. When the pandemic forced the school to close, a teacher was responsible for caring for the plants, but wasn't alone for long. 5 weeks ago, students returned one afternoon a week to prepare their produce for the East Nashville Farmers Market.
In the beginning, when people weren't really they were like, do we want to take stuff from little kids?
With a few weeks under their belt,
if you want one, you can just take it out and plant it in the ground.
These sales girls and boys are hard to resist.
And then we have a little bit of garlic. We don't have too much, but we have a little bit.
They definitely feel more confident, and even the ones who are here for the first time this week feel pretty confident because they know the people that are around them and they feel safe, just like they do at school.
And whether they know it or not,
you have to be patient.
They're getting a lesson in business, even if it's science they signed up for.
I usually say hello, and if I grab their attention, I say, could I interest you in some free produce from our school garden? And then afterwards, I say, have a good day.
An Ohio woman is grabbing our attention not just for her volunteer work, but for her passion that goes along with it.
I don't think I'm doing this right.
So, right off the top,
it's absolutely the best job. For volunteering. Keeps us strong, keeps us active.
A few things about Rita.
And then
she never stops moving or smiling or laughing.
We have so much fun together.
Rita Stahl recently retired, and she knew she did not want to stay home.
I'm not a fan of lazy, so my husband's just like, go.
That's how she ended up here at the Akron Canton Food Bank, and her need to stay active meant she started racking up hours in this warehouse.
From last July till the end of December, I had over 100.
100 hours volunteering in the first 6 months. Raven Gayhart says dedication like that is something the food bank needs.
So last year we had more than 10,000 volunteers contribute nearly 60,000 hours of service.
Or the same amount as 29 full-time paid employees work, something the food bank can't afford. Rita spends her time here inspecting and cleaning cans and
we do 31 pounds.
Packing up boxes.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, and then 4.
When COVID-19 hit, the need for these boxes skyrocketed.
People couldn't even get on to unemployment, so they had to come and get food somewhere. And there's nothing more heartbreaking than to think that there's kids that are hungry. I never went through that, but I don't want to see it.
She'll take on the heavy lifting for people in need.
I don't want any regrets that I didn't try to help somebody.
And keep moving and keep laughing until every box is full.
I'm a helper person. I feel better about myself and the world when I help people. That's my motivation.
A few months ago, St. Pete's Bonnie Carver lost her job as a social worker and caregiver. Life got tough. No money, no food. She relied on food pantries.
I immediately went to the food pantries along with many other people.
And yet Bonnie still believed that other people needed far more help than she did.
I set up a food pantry out here with the excess food that I had. Like say you have 2 heads of cabbage. I'm not going to use 2 heads of cabbage. I think they need it more than I do.
Bonnie still needs a paying job, something in social work or caregiving. But in the meantime, she's also volunteering with Feeding Tampa Bay, delivering meals to the food insecure and people hit even harder by the pandemic.
So many people, are a few paychecks away from being hungry and homeless. Yeah, it's always a good time to help others.
Our next star volunteer was inspired during a particularly difficult time in his life, but he used that as motivation to help out his community.
Inside the Feeding Tampa Bay warehouse, Chris Brewer isn't just packing up boxes of food for his hometown, he's packing up hope.
This is a dream come true for me. Come back and make an immediate difference in our community. I wish it wasn't in times like this.
Chris knows all about leadership and dedication. He served in the United States Air Force for 20 years, when, like a lot of people of today, he was met with some devastating and unexpected news.
I got testicular cancer. Met a young man at the time when I was in San Antonio and Austin named Lance Armstrong, who was diagnosed 2 weeks before me, told me about this little foundation he started, and that got me in the nonprofit world.
When the pandemic hit, Chris began working with Feeding Tampa Bay, and within 6 weeks, he was leading dozens of volunteers at 5 of their 6 mega pantries.
It was just a great opportunity to apply my nonprofit skills, my military logistics skills, and do it all for the greater good.
From directing traffic to unloading the truck, there is no task Chris won't do. During a 3-hour span, they could load supplies into 1,500 vehicles.
It is a way to get a lot of food to a lot of people in a short period of time.
Chris tries to instill in the volunteers a sense of pride. This is their community, and it's their responsibility to do their part.
We are open to serving literally every person from every demographic, and we're honored to do it.
There's so much more that's good to know. We're shining a spotlight on a nurse who went above and beyond for one of her patients.
She will be my hero for the rest of my life.